Good morning, traders. John from Crypto Candlestick Trading. Just doing a quick update on Bitcoin in the crypto markets. So look at this. It's got something on today. We've come down, had a really big pop right here, which is good. Extra volume, stochastics coming out of oversold. So we've got this is our first point of reversal here. This is our second point of reversal here. So we're now we've had a massive decline, good buying coming back in, another big decline, and we've got reversals down the bottom with good buying coming back in, a lot of indecision. And then we've got our first really solid close above the 9, and then we've gone up and over. And what I'm after here is a second close above the 9 making higher highs and higher lows, with all those kind of things going for us. Then this would actually make it a buy. It is above the 50, it's above the 9, it's below the 200, and the thing is, we've got enough room to move between now and the 200 to actually make some profit. You know, if we're actually going to go from here to the 200, then, you know, it's kind of, you know, if you're a little bit wrong, it's going to cost you money. If you're right, you're not going to make much money. Whereas if you're trading from down here up to these kind of levels here, what's that? That's say 40, well, here we are here, so say 43, and then up to 49. So there's 6,000, there's 15%. So that's not bad, actually, 15% from there to there, you know, and especially if we're going to go on ones like Luna, for example. I just got Luna, and yeah, now it's coming up. And so this is doing a similar thing. It's come down, but it's bounced on the 200. And we've got an excellent engulfing candle there, beautiful closing candle, solid closing candle. This is the one that is the one that strikes me as being the first one. Well, here's the one that turned the tide. This one here was the trend, you know, the beginning of the new trend. Then it's come down, and now it looks like I'm hoping that at some stage we will make a higher high with the 9, and on top of that, we're going to make it another candle like this with a solid close that's going to be an engulfing closing above the 9, which is what I'm after right here. If that was to happen, I am going to be interested in Luna at this stage here. And, you know, do we have enough room to make some profit from here to say the 50, our first point of resistance? So here we're going from $54 up to around about $68, $14 on top of that. Yeah, that's pretty good. You know, that's doable. You know, if you're to get in here and, you know, stops below here or even below here, you know, but what we're going to do is actually check it out and have a look at the last few times it's set up similar to this, where the 9 was making higher highs. You know, we've had a good sell-off, good buying has come back in, good buying has come back in again. Nice closing above, 9 EMA making higher highs, higher lows, and engulfing closing above for the second time. What I really want to do is see this finish quite a bit stronger than what it is, though. If we have a look at it, you know, it's backed off a little bit, but still, this is an engulfing pattern that's closing above the 9. On top of that, I'll just get rid of my little toolbox, and down there, we've got stochastics are oversold. Coming out of stochastics oversold, massive engulfing up to 200. First closing above, higher highs, higher lows with the 9, and, you know, only just, but it is. And then we've got an engulfing closing above the 9. I want to see a stronger candle than this, but, you know, we'll have to wait and see. But we do know that when we get the second confirmation, this actually works for us quite well. So it doesn't work every time, but this will tell us when we're coming out of the lows. Here we've come down, up, and we didn't really come down like so. We've come down, had a nice, you know, closing above the 50, which is great. Nice close above the 9, which is great. Pull back. We didn't get a second close above the 9. That 9 making higher highs and higher lows. So, you know, that was a no-go. So yeah, this here, I don't mind it. I don't mind it. We've got declining volume as well, which basically means that liquidity's run out. So there's no one wants to sell this stuff anymore. You know, big money's hanging around waiting for something to sell, or, you know, some big panic selling to happen, and it's not happening. So we'll have to see what happens from there. And, you know, but if we still look at these on some of the other ones, you know, we are still looking quite negative. Here we've come down, big sell-off, nice closing above. I'm waiting for a nice closing above for the second time. Then we'd have, you know, the same situation I was just talking about before. Huge sell-off, which is great. Good buying coming back in, which is great. Stochastics coming out of oversold. Higher highs, higher lows on the 9. First closing above. Now have a look at this here. So if we were to take away this little indecision doji here and then have this is a massive engulfing candle that's engulfed the red one here. But, you know, we can call this a morning star where it's come down, you know, the morning star's down here and then it's taken off. and it's, all this Morningstar has to do, in order to be a valid Morningstar, is this needs to close up more than 50% of this red candle, and it's done that well and truly. So here we've closed above there, we've got a good sign of strength. Here we come down and we're looking for a second good sign of strength to, an engulfing closing above the 9. And so this is probably the second entry that I will get, below the major moving averages. And the only reason being, say if we get a massive candle like this, a big, 20% candle, and it's down the bottom here, but I'm talking about a major sell-off. I'm not talking about like a mediocre sell-off like this. If we have a major sell-off and we're, looking at 20% candles at the bottom, then I'll be looking at the red to green move down the bottom. That's probably the only other time that I'll be buying something that's, well and truly below the moving averages. But here we can kind of see it's, got a nice close. I'm waiting for a second close above there before I act. At this stage here, I don't have any reason to, reverse my position. It's not looking as good as what it was, but you win some, you lose some. I don't want to be here for a 5-minute trade. I'm actually hoping that this either tanks big time or turns around and gives me an entry, and I'll reverse my position. Okay, so with this here, let's have a look at that. So we've come down, buying's come back in, which is good. First close above. This is quite messy, but we found good support on the 200. This is probably the real close that we've got there, and we're still trading below the 9. So this is actually okay, but it's not good because we're still only just below. We're kind of heading above the 9 now, which is okay. But we're below the 50. So, we've got a nice closing above there. 9's making higher highs and higher lows. It looks like we've got an engulfing pattern that's going to be closing above there. So the main thing that I'm looking at here, and this is like kind of, with Bitcoin as well, we've come down, massive big red candle, a lot of indecision, and then we've got a big green candle that negates the red candle. This is the reversal one that kind of made everything turn around. But that, started from Bitcoin. That, it was on Bitcoin that actually did that. It's come down here, beautiful. It's kind of reversal. I really don't like this. What I do like is when we get a pullback. If there's still buying happening in the pullback, it's not very good for it. It just kind of spells a little bit of delay. Now that I've said that, it'll probably just take off and skyrocket. But what we can see, let's just read the charts instead of, I'll get rid of my opinion. It has come down. We've got, good buying that's come back in. This is the first real close above that we can take notice of as the reversal, and it's got, good volume. Stochastics come out of oversold. So here we've got a very good story that's happened. And then we've come up and now we've pulled back, but we've rested on the 9 and the 50. But I want to see good strength coming back in to this candle here in order to make it a valid trade. And at the moment, it's okay. If we open it up, it's I would like a better close, but we do have an engulfing, almost rocket booster that's closing above the 50 and the 9. Not convincingly, but it is doing it. So is this our second close? Are you happy enough to be reversing your positions and be buying something like this? Remember, Bitcoin's the one that is going to lead the way at the end of the day. If you've got these other smaller ones that are like, like a 100th of the size of Bitcoin, and they're trying to lead the market and show Bitcoin the way, it's just not going to work. Big money, I think Bitcoin dominance was about 42% or something like that, which is a huge amount of money. Like of the entire crypto market, I think there's like 14,000 cryptocurrencies at the moment. And, but in the top 100, Bitcoin is just smashing it. So, being 40% dominance, it's excellent. So, and it's very strong. Here, engulfing pattern, just doesn't look like a very strong candle to me. It's about the only thing I'll say. Here, dot, yep, okay, looking pretty good. It's just gone sideways. It found support perfectly at that line there where these bodies stopped here. So that was my first idea, and then I'll be moving this down if it was to break down even lower than that. See if we can find some sort of a common ground below there. But it's just indecision at this stage here. We are still trading below the 9 EMA. But if we just have a look here, we've come down, big sell-off, massive volume. Now this isn't all sellers, even though it's red. It's come down all the way down to here, massive buying to turn this thing around. And then, still turned out to be a red day, like a down day. And so that's why we've got massive volume there. Stochastics are oversold, indecision, nice pop rocket booster above there. Here's a second one, but we can't really count this as our second one because we've got a decline, and we are making higher highs and higher lows with the 9. So, you can either take this one or this one as being the first one, and now we're back below it again. If this 9 stays above, the height of the 9 here, and then gives us like a nice strong engulfing pattern above here, I'll be changing my position around. As we can see here, we've got indecision now. We've had a decline, but we've got a decline in low volume, which is basically saying that there's less and less liquidity. Less people want to sell down at these prices here. Okay, looking at this one here. Yeah, this one just looks sideways, really. Okay, we've got a decline. Nice pop, nice pop. But this 9 is down to the same level as here. It's just, no, I'm not really as interested in Link as what I was. Here we've got a nice closing below the 50 and the 9 on Tezos. What's going to happen here? Trend line, trend line, trend line. And trend lines are very strong. 50s are very strong. This isn't looking like a very good story. And usually when it comes back below, this is where I get interested. If this was to come back, like it comes down close below all this here. So we've got a downtrending line, we've got an engulfing off that, another engulfing, and we're going to close below the 2 moving averages here. Now this one here, I would get interested in this. If Bitcoin was showing a little bit more negativity, I'd probably go short here. But, it's opened here, traded down, and then it's gone all the way up to the 50, and then it's found rejection at the 50 and then pulled back and stopped here. So what I would usually do if I wasn't selling into the market here, I would wait for it to pull back somewhere near the 50, and I'd have an order there to sell, and I'd be selling here with my stops just above the high there. But, so this is looking pretty negative. We'll have to wait and see. It's been a pretty good turnaround, but looking pretty negative. If we get a nice, big, solid, pop here, then we could say that, we're the same scenarios that I've, spoken about before. We've got the massive sell-off, good buying coming back in, stochastics oversold, 9s making higher highs and high lows. Our first good pop above it, now waiting for our second good pop above it for confirmation. Mana, yep, decline in volume. Look at that, less liquidity. So what's going to, usually when we got less liquidity, less people willing to sell, usually we get a bit of an aggressive move in a direction. Now look at this. This is that don't diddle in the middle one. Here we are going sideways again. Down. Yep. Yeah, just not much there. I just don't like it really. It just looks like a good place to lose money. Sideways trading. This one here, so here at the 200, yeah, it actually looks good, but it looks quite sideways. Are we going to find, support at 200? We'll have to wait and see. Yep. What can you say really? It's just, downtrending. We're under the trend line, and we're, we seem to be trying to climb a trend line. So indecision between here and there. Massive sell-off. Good buying coming back in at the bottom. Stochastics were oversold, up, and then we've got massive reversal. Beautiful. Closing above the 9. Reached up, rejection at the 50, closing. Now we've got support. We've got 2 lines here, so we can, 2 bottoms there that we can make a line from. And it looks like we've bounced on there almost perfectly. And if we come up here and close above the 9, I'll be interested in going a long position because we've got higher highs and high lows. This will be our second confirmation for an entry. Or mine anyway, for that one there. This one here, yeah, just looks very negative still, sideways and down. But have a look at that, it's done the same thing again. Nice close, massive rocket booster there. The 9 is making high highs and high lows. This market has every chance to turn around. Even though it's looking negative under the 50, it is showing signs of strength of, potentially turning around. Here. Same kind of thing again, we've got our lows in, it looks like we could potentially have our lows in, our first closing above, waiting for our second closing above, high highs, high lows with the 9, stochastics being oversold. I would, one thing I do like to do is buy above the 50. I don't like buying very much below the 50. And so if we do get one of these that has had a significant sell-off, and then we've, got our first closing above the 9, 9's making higher highs, high lows, like look at this, it's not showing any major conviction, even though the 9's making higher highs, high lows for the first time in this whole downtrend. Then, and plus we're above the major moving averages. I want to see some conviction. I want to see some okay, let's, I want to see everyone involved. And at the moment, not everyone's involved. I think there's still quite a few people on the sidelines, actually, by the looks of it. Just looking at this market here, there's no real conviction to say, bang, yep, we're doing this. You know, we can still see there's quite negative sentiment in the market too. So no, yeah, just nothing's really grabbing me. I'm more happy really to hold my positions where they are, and I'll just wait to see if So let's just have a look at this. So this is it's kind of better. Got a big sell off, nice closing above, and then we come down and then we got another nice close above. You couldn't really. I mean, this is almost, but like we've come down, gone up, and then we're making our high highs, high lows. If this closes above, but if this closes like a nice solid close above the 50, man, I'll be interested in getting involved. Only because it's a good chart setup. I'm not a big fan of Tron though. Righto, that was a crow. Just letting me know this video is going too long, so traders, I'll leave it at that. And I hope you're having a good day. And if you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, I'll talk to you again soon. Yeah, look at that. We just better be on watch for this one here. If this is a nice solid closing candle, we need to start looking for the upside. Righto, traders, talk to you again soon. See you.